Sometimes things do not go according to plan. If you clicked this video hoping to see some EV bashing, I'm not going to do it. I love my car, I love the EVs, I love what we can do with them, I love the performance, I love how much money it saves me in gasoline. But what I'm going to do is tell you the story about what happened to me a little over a week ago. As I film this, it is Saturday, October 15th, and on Tuesday, October 4th, Elsa had a breakdown and kind of left me in need of a tow. I'm going to show you what happened that morning, and then I'll follow up with you and tell you what happened afterwards. Well, it happened. I've been reading about this on the Chevy Bolt Facebook group. Of a warning light comes on and then the car won't go into gear, and it has happened to me. I was on my way to work. I stopped off here in the back of this gas station, oddly enough, with a Bolt, and turned the car on to get ready to go. Won't go into gear. I've got the warning light. Hit the OnStar button. They're sending me a tow truck. But right now I've got the service vehicle soon light. Little orange car with an exclamation point on it. Every time I try to put it into reverse or drive, it says the conditions are not right for the shift, and on top of it, the car won't turn back off. So the idea of rebooting it isn't working. I've read that if I disconnect the 12-volt battery, that might do it. Went in and this store actually had one crescent wrench for sale, so I bought it and decided, since they're sending a tow truck anyway and work's got me covered this morning, I'm not going to do anything that might put a hitch in warranty or anything like that. Someone's coming and we'll see what the update is. So I got off the phone with the tow truck driver about 7 minutes ago. Probably about another 7-10 minutes. Tow truck driver will be here, and then I'll head up to the dealership and find out what's going on with the car. Hopefully this is just, it needs a software update and the onboard computer's confused, because the shifting is all electronic and all of that, and the reason the car won't shut off, maybe it's just a software glitch. But I'll get a better idea. OnStar, when I hit the OnStar button and got a diagnostic from them, and they ran 2 diagnostics through OnStar, and the car, at least through them, is not throwing any codes, but it's got the service vehicle soon light on. So it's still a mystery at this point. Car still won't turn off, still won't shift into gear. Can't do anything to reset it aside from disconnecting the battery, which I'm a little cautious on doing at the moment. And the 12-volt battery. But yeah, I'll let you know what happens. So Rick Schrecker's here. We had to push the car. Well, he pushed the car over here so he could get it from the front. And he's just lining up to hook it up and get it on the flatbed, and off we'll go. Tow truck driver is wearing a hat that says Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and that just really sums up my day so far. So while he's hooking the car up, I think he may have had a little issue finding tow hooks. The car still won't turn off. I've got climate control off, I've got the radio off, so I've got it using as little power as possible, but it is still on. So we're all hooked up. He's putting the last tie down on the left front. We're secured on all 4 corners, and I'm going to be on the road to the dealership. Here goes my car. I'm going to go check into service. Well, the tow truck driver dropped me off in front. I walked up and talked to a service writer. I'm here at the Chevy dealership where we bought the car 9 days shy of 2 months ago. And the service writer told me it'll probably be a couple of days before they can even look at it. She'll send a tech out there to make sure they can get the car turned off. When I said I knew that it needed a software update, and I'm hoping that was it, she kind of gave me a look like, I don't know about that. But my story is not going to have an ending today. It's going to be a couple more. It's going to be a while. So now I'm just waiting on a ride. So you know how you take a car in and because there's something wrong, and when it gets to the dealership and the mechanic looks at it, what it was doing wrong isn't wrong anymore, and it usually happens to be in the electrical system. Well, it turns out that a car that is entirely electric does the same thing. Tow truck driver was able to get the car to power off. I went back to get some more stuff out of it and to make sure that it really was powered off, and sure enough, he was right. It was powered off. And the guy who took me back was able to put it in drive and put it in reverse and drove it up to the service lane. I showed the service writer some of the video I took this morning of what it was doing, and so there's something not right. So they're going to look at it and try to figure out what it is, but right now it's a mystery. So Rachel picked me up, took me home. I continued to keep up with my work online through emails, etc., and got some of our road trip video edited while I was waiting. I didn't think it would take too long because the service advisor immediately emailed me an estimate with the car having a projected finish time of 4 o'clock that afternoon on October 4th. So what I did was I posted to the Facebook group for Chevrolet Bolt EV and EUV owners to let them know, what had happened, and I'd follow up to say how it was resolved. And there were a lot of comments that were being helpful. And one of the first big pieces of advice that I got was just disconnect the 12-volt battery, which will reset the system. Now, I already knew that. I decided it was best to let the professionals handle it and go along that way. I didn't know at the time that I was going to be without my car for a week. When the service advisor told me, it might be a couple of days before I can look at it, she was being very honest with me. Well, about an hour and a half or so after I posted my original post to that forum, I got a reply directly from Chevrolet asking me to private message them and keep them in the loop. So I did. And over the next few days, I got updates from the Chevy dealer, and I would pass those updates along to Chevrolet. Chevrolet would reach out to the Chevrolet to the dealer, and they would tell me what they found out, and we just kept going back and back and back and back with just information updates. So the first couple of days that the car was in the shop, it was just sitting there. I was checking with the My Chevrolet app. I was checking to see how much range it had left, what the state of charge was, and I could tell that the car hadn't really moved. On Thursday, October 6th, the technician finally got to look at it, and when they were going through, they discovered that there was a brake actuator for the parking brake on the left side that was acting up. That's the term that I was given, was it's acting up. I don't know exactly what that meant, but they needed to replace that part, and it was going to be in the next day on Friday, October 5th. So I thought, well, part gets replaced. There's a software update that needs to happen that they're even calling a recall. Once that's done, it should be fine, and I might have my car ready tomorrow. So I let the Chevrolet rep online know that as well. Come Friday, car's not ready. The part didn't arrive until late. They weren't able to get it in, and software updates take a while, and then they needed to test it, and the service department of that dealership is not open on the weekends. So it was going to be until Monday. So I let the Chevrolet rep know that. Chevrolet rep was very apologetic. Sorry it was taking so long. Sorry that all this stuff had happened. And I went on about my weekend knowing that, well, maybe I'll get my car on Monday. Monday's a holiday at work. I have the day off. It would, it'd be great. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to get the car back. Well, I wait and I wait on Monday, and I get a message from the dealership saying we're going to test it out. We'll let you know. Might be early this afternoon. I wait till early afternoon. I call. There's still some issues. We're putting in a TAC unit request. Now, TAC is the Technical Assistance Center for GM, and that's where some experts at General Motors will look into the case themselves and try to come up with a solution. I let the Chevrolet rep know what was going on there. The service advisor at the dealership said that might take a couple of days to get that answer back, but I'm thinking because I had been in contact with a Chevrolet rep that it might have sped that along, because the following morning, on Tuesday morning, they had the TAC case resolved. So here's what it was. what the dealership is saying and what the Technical Assistance Center at General Motors is saying is that yes, the left side parking brake actuator needed to be replaced. Also, there was a software update that was needed for the onboard diagnostic system. Those two things were taken care of, and when those were, then the car didn't know what was going on anymore. They had to recalibrate the system, and then they had to recalibrate the system again. That was what the TAC Center said was, well, recalibrate it again and see what happens. They recalibrated it a second time, everything was fine, and I got the call to go pick up my car. That was basically it. The reason it took so long wasn't because of a parts delay or anything like that. It was just because the Chevy dealership was busy and they needed to get my car up and wait my own turn in line. Fortunately, we have other vehicles that I could drive, so I wasn't put out too much by it other than the fact that I didn't get to drive my car. I still love this car. Driving this car makes me happy. It just does. I love the way it handles. I love the way it accelerates. I love the one pedal drive system. And I'm very happy to have my car back. The thing that stood out to me the most was even how many times I would be texting the Chevy service advisor at the dealership. She was patient with me the whole time, maintained that patience and friendliness when I picked up the car. They charged it up to 100%. And they're right by the freeway, and my work is right by the interstate as well. So at 100% doing nothing but freeway driving, my efficiency went down really low. If you saw the road trip video, we did 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, and I was down to 3.3, and the weather was fine. It wasn't because of cold temperatures. So when I contacted the Chevy rep and said, I got the car, it's driving fine. My efficiency seems to be low, but I think it's because it was at 100% and I was on the interstate. For those of you that don't know, when an electric vehicle is at 100%, the regenerative braking system has nowhere to put the power that it generates. So you don't get regen on this car until you're down a few percentage points. You don't get that regenerative charge into the battery, which later that day when I drove home from work, efficiency was right back where it was supposed to be. My work commute is usually about 4 miles per kilowatt hour in this lovely mid 80 degree weather in Texas fall. So the efficiency was fine. I let the factory rep know everything was fine. They said, thank you, we're glad to know your situation has been resolved. Let us know if you need anything else. That's what impressed me the most. It also impressed Rachel, was that Chevrolet wanted to be in touch throughout this whole thing and make sure that I was taken care of. So yeah, factory support is great. Electric vehicles are not entirely new technology, and this car has been around since 2017 in some iteration, the Chevrolet Bolt. So it's not 100% new, but they're trying to refine as they go. If you're going to say, well, that's the problem, you're just an electric car can't be relied on, I believe that the car can be. It got handled, it got fixed, it was 100% under warranty, it didn't cost me a dime. Even though I live 25 miles away from the dealership offered me a courtesy ride, but I didn't want to put him out. It was my call to call Rachel and have her pick me up. So do I trust this car to get me to and from work? Absolutely. Since I picked it up on Tuesday of this week, that's what I've been doing, is driving it to and from work, following the exact same paths and the exact same routine. I even took a video of in the exact same spot where the breakdown happened, doing the exact same thing. A day after picking the car up, I'm back in the same exact place for the same exact reason that I was in when I broke down last week. And in a sec, I'll be checking to make sure everything's okay and seeing if the car shifts the way it's supposed to. Okay, here we go. Power on. Let's wait for the idiot lights to go off. Parking brake. Shift into reverse. Shift it into reverse. Yay, everything working. Here's what I think happened. From the Chevy Bolt Owners Forum, they told me if you try to shift out of park too soon before the system's completely booted up, it might do that. It might not give you that conditions not correct for shift warning. And if that happens, just disconnect the 12-volt battery and it should be fine. If the car does that to me again, that's likely what I'll do, is just follow that advice. The Chevy Bolt forum says keep a 10mm wrench with you. So if you can do that, you've got the tool and it'll only take you a minute. Another option that they told me is walk away from the car with the remote in your pocket. Walk away about 100 feet, stay there for a minute or two, come back, the car will have shut itself off and you'll be fine. That's what the Bolt Owners Forum members told me. So I don't know if this video is going to be informative for you or not. I'm just telling you the story of what happened. Thank you very much for watching.